Well, welcome, Coach Lowe.
So excited to be here. This brings back so many memories for me. I grew up in New Jersey, and I went to a Catholic grammar school called St. Mary's Academy. I went from first grade to 8th grade there. What a wonderful experience. A lot of memories, a lot of stories. A little bit different. We were taught by mostly nuns, Sister of Mercy nuns. They were very caring, loving, but sometimes very firm. You know, they would make sure that we were doing the right things, and oh, there we go, and disciplined, and but so many good memories. We have 3 kids, and I'll talk to you a little bit about the book, where the book initiated. But we have 3 children at home, one 15, one 12, who's in 6th grade, and one's 9 in 3rd grade. The 6th grader, I was coming into school today. I was bringing her into school today, and I said, you know, today I'm going to be speaking to a group of students 5th through 8th. Are there any stories? She's heard me speak quite a bit, that I should tell this group. And she said, oh yeah, there's one for sure. And I want to tell you now that when I was at St. Mary's Academy, we had a lunch line. And I don't know if it's the same here, but we had to go through the lunch line to get our food. And at the beginning of the lunch line this one day, they had these big basket of red, delicious apples. I mean, it looked like they had just come right off the tree. And one of the nuns had written a note on top of the basket of apples that said, take only one, God is watching. So I wanted to make sure that everybody was only taking one and knew God was watching. So as we got further down the line, I took my one apple, grabbed a sandwich, the milk, and at the end of the line were these chocolate chip cookies. How many kids like chocolate chip cookies? Love them, right? They were freshly baked. I mean, as you got closer, you could kind of get a whiff of them, and they were, you know, hot and just right off. So one of the students in front of me, one of the leaders of the kids, wrote a note on the cookies and put it on there and said, take as many as you want. God is watching the apples. That was when I was in grammar school, and Christiana, my 6-year-old, liked it as much as those guys over there laughed. Just wanted to tell you that quick story. When our kids were growing up, and even still today, even for the 15-year-old, there's times where them going to bed, what we do is tell them stories. How many like hearing stories? And especially before you go to bed at night, our thought, Tina, my wife there, and our thought is to prepare them for sleep by telling them stories, and stories that have principles, stories that have meaning. One of the things that we know is when you go to sleep at night, your brain doesn't stop working. It keeps working. And one of the important things for you guys to know is, what does it work on? What does it marinate on? Whatever you heard, read, saw, last. So before you go to bed, if you're thinking about principles of success, your mind will be working on that. If you're thinking about your goals and your dreams, it will think about that. If you watch scary movies, if you watch bad things, if you listen to bad music, it will marinate on that as well. It's your choice. For Tina and I, what we do is we choose to pray over them before they go to sleep at night, but also to leave them with good messages. And one of the stories I told when Tyler, our oldest, was 2 and 3 years old, was a book about a giraffe, Johnny the giraffe. And it was a simple story about a giraffe that was obviously different than the other animals, a soccer story. That there was a group of animals, and Tyler, this boy in it, was the center of it. He was playing with the animals, had a bunch of animal friends, and they were preparing for a big soccer match, and Johnny felt a little bit sad because he wasn't included in that group. You see, Johnny was different. He had long legs, very long neck. It was very difficult to even talk to him. You couldn't hear him because he was so far away. He was slow, and he didn't look like the rest of the other animals. And because of that, they didn't include him in their team. Well, he was very sad, and Johnny, being a very compassionate, caring person,
he talked to Johnny and said, Johnny, I see you're sad. What's going on? He said, well, I'm not included. I'm not fitting in. I don't look like the rest of them. And he said, oh, it's okay. I'll talk to the group. So, you know, he goes back to the group and says, hey, guys, he's very sad. Can we include him? The group said, no way. Look at him. He's so tall, I can't even talk to him. He's different. He can't help us. Tyler, he convinces them to say, hey, look, we're all different, and we were all new to the team one time. Just let him be part of the team. Championship game on Saturday, he'd just be happy to be part of it. Sure enough, they let him be a part of it. Well, what do when you have something important that you're preparing for or getting ready for, an opportunity? Practice. So Johnny practiced all week long, especially on his gift. What do you think his gift was? For a soccer player being, 15 feet tall, what do you think his gift was? He said soccer ball, but what part of soccer? For the soccer players here, what do you think he'd be good at? Maybe defense? Any other thoughts? Goalie, maybe? Kicking? Anybody else? Offense? He was, you know what he was really good at? Heading the ball. Because he was taller than anybody else. So he practiced that one, especially all week long. He was so high up there that nobody could challenge him for anything in the air. So he practiced that. So they get to the game on Saturday, championship game. And what happens is they're playing the Amazon football club, Amazon soccer team. And how big do you think they were? Just by the sound of it, they were huge. It was the biggest team they'd played all year. They were massive. So at halftime of the game, they're down 2-0 because they can't compete. They're so big. So Tyler says to the group at halftime, hey, look, you got to put him in the game. Put him in. We got to use him. And what do they say? No way. He's too slow. He's not a good soccer player. And Tyler says, look, we have everything to gain from using them. We're losing 2-0. How many times when you're in life that you find yourself that things aren't going well, you need to sit back and reflect on it. Look at it. Say, what do I need to do different? You know what the definition of insanity is? Is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If you expect to get something different by doing the same thing, that's insane. It's not going to change. So you need to reflect sometimes. Take a step back and go, geez, what am I doing? Is it working? And if it isn't working, change. Do something different. Tyler knew that. So he said, we need Johnny. Get him in the game. So they get Johnny in the game. And pretty soon they realize he's dominant in the air. There's nobody that can compete with him in the air. He is just dominating. So they knock a few in the air to him. He scores 2 goals, evens the game. And in the last minutes of the game, they loft one and are all screaming, get it to Johnny, get it in the air, kick it to him. Here was a guy that, beginning of the week, they were saying, no way. Now they had recognized his gift. And they said, get him the ball. So they kick him the ball, he scores a game winner. And now he recognizes his gifts. He knows his gifts. Everybody else appreciates him for his gifts. And the story is simply about that everybody's different. Everybody's unique. God has made us all different. Our differences are significance. That's what makes us special. That is what makes you the greatest miracle in the world. You are the greatest miracle in the world. Because you are unique. Because you are different. Because you're special. Some of you may be sitting there and saying, I'm not really sure what that gift is. I'm not really sure what makes me special. But trust the fact, as you sit here today, and God has made you uniquely special, that you do have a gift. You may be searching for it still. You may be looking for it still. But trust in the fact that you all are special and have your own gift. There was a story, though, the key is once you find your gift, is then to share that, to use it. Because there are stories in the Bible, Jesus talks about, if you have a light and you put a basket over the light has no value. There's no purpose to it if you put a basket over it. It can't shine. Well, when I was younger, I had an aunt that every Christmas she would buy me a tie, right? A tie. And it was Christmas after Christmas after Christmas, I get a tie. And you know what? It came in the same box. Did you ever see a tie box? It has that long, thin box. It comes the same way. So I saw it coming every year. You know what I mean? You get the long box and thank you, appreciate it, Aunt Jenny. Thank you very much, appreciate it. Well, this one year, I get the Christmas gift, the long, thin box, and in the midst of all the celebration and dinners and everything like that, I took the box and put it up in the closet. Never opened it. Never opened it. 2 years later, I have an event, and I'm looking for the right tie, and I can't find it. Just nothing goes with what I want to wear. And I had this thought, that tie, I got it for Christmas. I bring it down, and I open up the package, and it's a Rolex watch. She had given me a Rolex watch. But you see, for 2 years, that Rolex watch was worth nothing because I kept it up in a closet rack. We have gifts that unless we unwrap those gifts and use those gifts, they're worth nothing. We have a responsibility each and every day to become the best we can become, to grow into the gift that God has given us, to express that gift and then share that gift with others. Because if we don't, then the gift we are giving has no value. It stays hidden. The light that was in us does not get to shine. God wants your light to shine. He needs your light to shine. You have a responsibility to unwrap that gift that you've been given. At the University of Louisville, when I got there 7 years ago, it was really important for us that we wanted to unwrap the gifts of the players. And in doing so, is raise the level of success at the University of Louisville. We knew that was the only way we could do it, was unwrap the gifts. Part of that was creating a culture that was responsible, disciplined, that did things the right way, that invested in each other, that every single day we did the best we could to become the best we could be. One of the rules that we had, one of the disciplines we had, was that they needed to show up every single day on time for training. If you didn't show up on time for training, you did not earn the privilege to train that day. So it's not a right, it's a privilege. And if you did not show up on time, you did not earn that privilege. Well, this was early in the time I was there. I think it was like in the second semester, it was spring semester, very cold day. We trained at 8 o'clock in the morning. And we were training up at a Traeger Center, which was about, probably about a half mile, 3/4 of a mile away from where we changed our locker room is. Well, on this one day, the guys are getting ready, getting changed before they head up to the Traeger Center where we're training. And they realize, they look over, and one of the guys is not there. I mean, this is like 20 minutes before we had to be. It was like 7:40. We had to be up there at 8 o'clock. So they look around, they see he's not there. What do? Good guys, looking out for each other, they call him. OT, where are you? OT is like waking up in bed. Alarm didn't go off, overslept, whatever it was. He says, where are you? He says, I must have overslept. My alarm didn't go off. I didn't say, I don't know. So they quickly devise a plan. They said, look, we're going to gather your stuff. We'll meet you in the quad on the campus. You can dress right there, like you're going to have to dress there, so you can get the training by 8 o'clock. So the two guys, they gather all the stuff. They run out of the locker room. OT just barely, putting some clothes on, gets going himself. Now it's probably about 10 minutes, 15 minutes till he has to be up at Traeger. I'm up at Traeger, and I see what's going on clockwise. I see what time it is. Some of the guys coming in already for training are telling me what's going on. look, it could be close for OT and a couple of guys, they're trying to. I said, okay. So they meet OT on campus. OT gets his stuff, throws it all on, and he's getting ready to head off. And the other two guys give OT his stuff, and they realize they forgot their own soccer shoes. They got all of OT stuff, and they forgot their own. So now they got to run back to the locker room and still get the Traeger on time. Well, they leave the stuff and head for Traeger, going to get their own soccer shoes. They head up. Meanwhile, OT's heading, and I'm watching the clock. I'm up there, I'm set for training, putting the cones down in the basket, ready for training. And sure enough, right before 8 o'clock, the door opens and OT comes walking through the door. And he looks at me, and he's looking at the clock, and he's walking over to where 8 o'clock comes. We get practice started. Practice started. So we get it going, we get practice, and OT's body language, you can see he's looking at, and he's feeling bad. He's barely going through the warm-up exercises that we're doing. A little bit after 8, the other two guys come running in. You can see they ran the whole way. They're huffing and puffing. And they come running over to me. And I said, look, I know what's going on. We have the rules. You're after 8. You don't get to train today, but you can help us by facilitating training. Putting cones down, vest up, whatever we need, but you lose the opportunity of training. Now OT's body language really is slumped up. Now he's really feeling bad. So we get through the warm-up and we're getting to the next part of training. Functional part, we're setting it up, and OT starts walking towards me. And now I'm walking away, I don't want to talk. So I'm moving in the other direction, I'm trying to set stuff up, and he's tracking me down. He finally gets close enough. Coach! Coach! I can't ignore him anymore. I said, OT, what is it? What do you want? He said, it's not fair. It's not fair. I said, what do you mean it's not fair? He said, I should be the one not training today. It's because of me that they were late. I said, OT, we have rules. You were here on time. They came afterwards. But what they've given you is a gift. What they've given you is the opportunity to train today. And what you're doing is wasting that gift. By feeling sorry for yourself. Maybe guilty. But you're wasting that gift. You, OT, have a responsibility right now to be the best you can be. To honor that gift that you've been given today to train. So honor them. Honor their actions by being the best you can be. He was unbelievable the rest of the training. His team won everything. There wasn't a day that he was better than on that day. Clearly our best guy. Every day is a gift for you guys. Every single day is an opportunity for you to shine. I implore you, I encourage you to take each and every day the gift it is to shine. And then help each other shine as well. You guys are at an age right now where being different is hard and difficult. Where being different is sometimes criticized. I encourage you, if you are going to walk in the steps that Jesus walked, if you are going to live the life that Jesus lived, then you must then open your heart to others around you. You must encourage their significance and uniqueness in being different rather than ridicule. That's one of the things that made Jesus special, is he recognized the gift in everybody. It's hard to be different at your age. It's hard to step forward and recognize your difference and be confident in that. We need help sometimes. Help each other. Encourage each other. Recognize the gifts in each other. Lift each other up. Encourage each other. There's strength in that. Share your gifts. Develop your gifts. All right? God needs that in you. He's asked that of you. What questions do you have for me today? I have a couple more minutes. Any questions that you might have? Come on, any orange sweatshirt there. What question? Come on, you got to have a question. Any question? Not even can I sign? I will after I'm done. Yes, I will. How about you? Yeah, as soon as I'm done, I'll sign that for you. That's a good question. Yes? Yes, I can do that. I can do that. Yeah, I'll stick around and sign. Any other questions? Anything about soccer, career, kids, book, anything like that? Good? Oh, yes. Have I ever been a soccer player? That's a great question. I coach soccer. I did play. I played, my career was, I grew up in New Jersey. I played high school soccer. I was a high school All-American, parade All-American. I went to Duke University, and I was a two-time All-American at Duke, and I played professional soccer. That's where I met my wife, Tina, who was playing professional soccer. And when I was done, I went into coaching. It's a good question. Yes? How long have I been a soccer coach? Wow. That would be about 25 years. Yes, about 25 years. Yes? I did when I was in grammar school. I swam. I played baseball. I was a basketball player as well. Obviously not a center. I was a guard. That was not my gift to be tall. But I did play a lot of sports, and they all helped me be a better soccer player because of that. And I would encourage you that, again, to find your gifts, you have to be willing to open yourself up and sometimes fail. Sometimes finding your gifts is part of that is failing sometimes. Is saying, well, I'm not too good in this part. And this is not what my gift is. And part of that is opening yourself up and not be successful the first time and finding what your gift is. Yes? Center midfield. I was the guy that got a lot of the ball and dictated a lot of the play. Yes? That was your question as well.
What would you recommend for anybody wanting to go into their professional sports?
Ooh, good question. That is a great question. How much time do we have? Here's what I would tell you, and this will relate to life. Is the first thing is you have to have a direction. Whether it's professional sports or anything else, with our kids, we talk to them about what their goals are. If you don't in your mind have some kind of direction, I'm reading a book right now called Outwitting the Devil. And what Satan tries to do is get you drifting, so you have no direction. When you have a direction, the devil has no power. So it's so important that you have a direction to what you do, a focus, an idea. And here's how that works. You write down on a piece of paper what you want to achieve. All right, what your goals are. And then you keep that piece of paper in front of you on a regular basis. How many times? 2, 3 times a day you look at it. And it creates a focus. You start programming your mind for a direction of success, of where you want to go. Has anybody ever gone on vacation here? Anybody? Okay. Now, how many times when you go on vacation does your mom and dad pack everything into the van, get ready to go, and then say, okay, let's decide where we want to go? That doesn't happen. You plan ahead of time, don't you? You have the destination set. You have it circled on a map. You probably have an itinerary, and you have it all planned out. Our life should be no different. When you wake up in the morning, you should have an idea of where you want to go and what you want to do. And what your life looks like. And the beauty is you get to decide that. If you want to be a professional soccer player, you can decide you want to do that. And you can set that direction in your life. You want to be a dancer, a teacher, you want to be a mathematician, whatever you want to be, you can decide. But you need to set the direction. You need to set the course. And once you set the course, then you got to work. You got to put in the energy. The harvest does not come unless you sow the seeds. There is no harvest unless you sow the seeds. You don't have any benefit, you don't have any payoff, you don't have any success unless you're willing to work at it. You have to work at it. So you set the direction, and once you do, then you put in the work. Keep your mind focused on where you're going, what you want to do, and then you work. You work every single day to get that in that direction. And then a big part of it is staying positive, having faith and trusting in the fact that you have the ability to get there. Does that help? So when you guys go home today, I expect that you're going to take a piece of paper, write down 5 things that must happen in your life. Not one, could, must. 5 things you must achieve. And then put them someplace where you can see them every single day. Probably your headboard, your mirror in your bathroom, someplace like that. It has significant power. I'm telling you, if you do take nothing away from what I'm saying here today, do that one exercise, and I promise you, it will have significant payoff in your life. It has for me and our players. Any other questions? That was a great question. Well, again, it started with the story we told our children, and as I told the story more and more, my wife said, look, we probably need to put that in the book, if for no other reason, for our children and our children's children. And then it eventually got to a point where we wanted everybody to share in that message because we felt so strongly about it. Yes?
Did you find an autograph for my dad? Would you like to see those stories?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go see like 5 games this year.
All right, absolutely. And I would encourage you all to come out. And if you're interested in the book, if you go to simply findingyourgifts.com or kenlola.com, you can get that. All right. So if you have a younger brother or your younger brother or sister, or you're interested, that you can for Christmas go to that website. Either one of those. All right. Superb. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you today, and enjoy the rest of the day. Merry Christmas to you as well, and celebrate the holidays. The best way you can do that is by shining a light on the world. All right, thank you very much.